What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Time Live. We are coming here today on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Happy Friday to everybody. You've made it through the week, and now you get to sit down, relax on your lunch break with a little bit of Game Time Live. We hope you guys do enjoy today's episode. We've got a stacked episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics. LeBron James is 10 points every game since like 2003 came to an end last night in the most unselfish way possible. Chris Paul being cut by the Clippers. I went and talked about that last night, but I've got a little more that I want to talk about it here today with my co-partner Daryl. And last but not least, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will he be in San Antonio? Will he be in Oklahoma City? Or is he going to stay in Milwaukee with his best buddy Miles Turner? We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the rest of the NBA here today as well. Of course, this all wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Matt Gaddis at State Farm. If you need any insurance help, please make sure to contact Matt Gaddis. And our other sponsor, our newest sponsor, Wired to the Nines. If you need any low voltage help, if you need a camera installed, if you need your cable installed, if you need anything installed that is low voltage, don't hesitate to email the email down in the ticker. For all of your low voltage needs, contact Wired to the Nines at yahoo.com. Daryl, great to have you. Great to see you again. Obviously, we talk over the phone and whatnot, but it's been a minute since we've gotten to do a show, which was on Monday. We recapped the NFL. You and your son, Darren, did a show on Tuesday. But it's back to Friday, and it's time to talk a little NBA and pull ourselves away from the football world for a moment.
Yeah, man. Hey, great week of NBA drama. A lot of back and forth. I know I mentioned January, but it's December 5th, and that's pseudo close to January. The NBA's heating up, man. Giannis is talking about he wants out. Then he turns around and gets hurt, and he's out for the next 2 to 4 weeks. He's critically disappointed in the performance of Miles Turner, my guy. Then you swing down to the west there. Oklahoma City is just rolling like nobody's business. You go a little further south than Oklahoma City. Looks like Dallas is trying to get healthy. That rookie phenom seems though he's getting his legs underneath him. Then you take a little bit further west. Then east. You look at the situation there with Zion out for the next 4 weeks. Then you go back west again, go to the Clipper land. They get rid of Chris Paul. Then you go a little further to the west of there. You got Bron scoring 8 points. And then the game prior to that, he was stat padding to get his 10. And they showed the video clip of him looking at the board and realizing he's got 10 points and he gets out the game. And he's got his coach calling timeout because he's on the sideline hanging with his boys. Man, now this is the drama that we've been talking about. Now we're talking.
We're gonna get into it today. I'm excited to get into it. But first, we start with the news that I covered last night on Game Time After Hours. If you haven't seen that episode, please go check it out. We start with Chris Paul. Chris Paul in his final season of the NBA. The Clippers choosing to part ways with Chris Paul, the team announced. Chris Paul, I saw a report last night. I misspoke. I didn't misspeak, but at the time last night when I recorded that, the consensus was that Chris Paul may not sign with another team, but it seems like I saw a report today that said he wants to continue playing. He wants to play out his last season in the NBA. So I hope for his sake that does reign true. Daryl, I'm going to give you the floor first because obviously I talked about this last night, so I'm not going to hold you up on this. I want to get your thoughts because I think you view it in the same vein as me, right? You do think it was a messed up move by the Clippers, but you believe there is more to it, which I don't disagree with you with. But I think for me, I have my reasoning. I have another thing that I'm going to pull up for you here in a moment, but I'll let you go first.
Well, for me, it's two-part, right? So this isn't Chris Paul's first rodeo in Clipperland, right? The lay of the land he's familiar with. Most NBA insiders kind of are familiar with who Chris Paul really is. The guy, excuse me, I'm banging on my desk here. He's the guy who tells you what he feels. It's unfiltered. And when a team has a losing record, with two ex-fading superstars as their lead dogs, I'm sure he's been chirping a lot. I'm sure he's made Tyronn Lue very uncomfortable. I'm sure he's made management uncomfortable. However, management knew who Chris Paul was in August, in July. So you decide to sign him for his last year. You got to accept what he says and what he's doing, unless he's coming to practice and punching holes in walls and things like that. It's a different story. But if it's just verbalization, the guy was playing 10 minutes a game. Okay, it's not like he was impacting the game on the floor. But the flip side of that is they're saying he was only playing 10 minutes a game. He wasn't impacting the team on the floor, and he's a cancer in our locker room. So if that's the case, they made that decision to get rid of him. Now, I was listening yesterday to my guy Sam Mitchell on XM88, and Sam and Watson, who played for the Pacers, Earl Watson, who played for the Pacers. They talked about it and said, listen, you know who Chris Paul is. If you didn't know, you were blind. And what they were saying was, yeah, Chris Paul is going to make you uncomfortable. And what Earl Watson said, in today's NBA, they don't want to be uncomfortable. They want everything to be peaches and cream and everybody get along. These coaches hire their assistants so they can be yes men, not to really give them the information they need to be successful. Sam Mitchell echoed those thoughts extremely exactly the same. So for my part I blame both. I blame the Clippers and I blame Chris Paul. Do I think it was a terrible move, like a horrific to what they did to Chris Paul? No, I don't think it's that. I think it was maybe mismanagement, and we all know it's the Clippers. They mismanaged everything, right? From the Paul George trade to Oklahoma City to way back the draft picks from the 80s, 90s, and beyond. They've always mismanaged. That's nothing new. So with that said, my take is this. It's a 50% share from Chris Paul and the Clippers. You could have made it work. You didn't make it work. You weren't going to be very impactful on the floor. You moved on. My question is this. Who the hell wants Chris Paul right now?
That's fair. I disagree. I don't think it's 50-50. I think it's 80-20. Okay. I think the Clippers are at fault because this is a man that gave you, 9 years of your organization, gave you the most successful basketball in this franchise's history. The PG Kawhi era, like I said last night, is going to be looked down upon for years to come, especially when you look at the context right now of where the Thunder are going to be at in the draft if the Clippers continue to play this bad. Let's hope so. Thunder with a. For the Clippers, why would you cut Chris Paul? You can, and there's a clip already floating around of Ty Lue saying we don't need CP3's ass or whatever. So it came out today, right? And my question to you is, okay, we can say that same context for the other guys that you signed in free agency this year. Bradley Beal, before he got hurt, wasn't doing nothing. We searched it up last night on Game Time After Hours. Brook Lopez is averaging 6.5 points, and he's only played 3 games from what the stats are telling me. So you cut Chris Paul because he's being a locker room cancer, even though you already know when things aren't going wrong, he's going to speak up to you. What about Brook Lopez and Bradley Beal? Now, granted, Bradley Beal got hurt, so I will give him a pass. But at the same time, you signed all these guys, you signed all these uncles onto your team, and now you're wondering why everything's going wrong. Well, Kawhi Leonard can't ever stay healthy, which you know about that. You signed Bradley Beal, who Daryl, what did you used to call him, or what did you call him all off season?
A lot of things.
Yeah,
I know I call him an overrated wannabe superstar. I know I called him that a few things.
He's a bank robber with a no trade clause. That's what Bradley Beal is. And then you got Brook Lopez. Ask the Indiana Pacers what they think of Brook Lopez. They thought when they saw Brook Lopez on the floor, they started licking their chops in the playoffs last year. So when you're the Los Angeles Clippers, you cut Chris Paul because he's the only one that wanted to hold people accountable in that organization, because nobody held Kawhi Leonard accountable. There's a clip on Paul George's podcast where in Clippers scrimmaging, when they scrimmage, if you airballed, you had to do suicides. And Kawhi Leonard airballs, and he says, "I'm not running. Y'all not going to tell me airballing is a bad thing." So nobody wanted to hold Kawhi Leonard accountable, even when Paul George was there and everybody else. So it just goes to show this is a dysfunctional organization that we have to depend on so the Thunder don't get a top 5 pick in this draft.
Don't give me this we crap. Ain't no we. We ain't dependent on them. You're dependent on them.
Everyone's dependent on them.
Let me go back to the Kawhi thing. This is the NBA. Stars are treated different. Don't act like this is different now. Stars are treated differently. Kawhi Leonard is at that time was an absolute mega superstar. If he didn't want to run, he didn't have to run. It's the NBA. This is the same league where players say, I want that coach gone. He's gone. So don't double standard me now. No. We're not going to put that on Kawhi and the Clippers. Yeah, they're a dysfunctional organization. But any team in the National Basketball Association who has a superstar, he does what the hell he wants. Okay? It goes all the way back to Cal Ripken when he was playing for the Baltimore Orioles. This dude stayed at a separate hotel than his team. Superstar, Cal Ripken Jr. So this isn't anything new. Superstars get treated differently. We all know that. So you make a good point with regard to the Clippers being dysfunctional. They've been dysfunctional for years. But that piece and podcast, Paul George, sorry, I'm not going to let that one deteriorate the LA Clipper hate. No, not at all. Because, again, it doesn't matter. If you have a superstar in the NBA, he dictates things, not the coach. But I'm just saying that's just it. And I'm not talking about just the Clippers. I'm talking. Look at your boy. If you want to talk about players, look at your boy. He's on the sideline cackling up with the other team, just having fun. Yeah, just having good old fun. He's a star, mega star. He can do what the hell he wants.
That's fair.
Be honest. He can get a coach fired and act like he didn't.
That's fair. And we're gonna talk about both of those gentlemen on this show today. But to end this part off, the Clippers. I don't think this is Chris Paul's fault in any way. Like you said, and like everyone else is saying, you know what you were getting in Chris Paul. It's his last season. He gave this organization its most successful years of basketball because the PG Kawhi era is a failure other than one Western Conference appearance, which didn't have Kawhi Leonard, by the way. It was all Paul George in that run to the WCF that year when they lost to Phoenix. So, and not only that, the Clippers have the worst trade in pro sports as well that they can also hold on to their hat. So everything's going.
That's beautiful. That's going to help the Thunder so many years. I love that.
I'm hoping
they only win 20 more games the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's going to change. When you're the Clippers, and we're going to talk about the trade deadline a little bit today too, because there's a lot that could happen at the deadline. I was talking about it last night, right? I think, we'll get into it. But I think when you're the Clippers, you can't go into the deadline and not make a single move. Stuff has to be moved around. Things have to be changed. You've got 6 wins, and the team that is in like 9th place has about 9 wins, I think. So you're not far off, but you got to make some changes. And cutting Chris Paul isn't going to make the chickens come home to roost, as my partner usually says.
You never know. I mean, listen, I'll end with my end is it. It had to be real bad for them to release him. I'm just saying. It had to be real bad. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
Players call him the slime ball. You know that, right? Well, players. I mean, I'm not a Chris Paul fan or hater or whatever. I'm just saying.
I'm not the biggest fan either.
All I've heard was ex-players. Oh, he's a slime ball. I very rarely hear anything complimentary towards Chris Paul with ex-players. Players that played with him and against him. Just saying. Nothing very complimentary.
All right. Next up, let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is our next piece of news on the docket. I'm just going to pull up this graphic here. These are some hypothetical trade packages that
check your text messages. Make sure you're not getting any text messages from anybody or emails.
I'll take a look at that. But I want to talk about Giannis for a second. We talked about it a little bit over the phone, and I think me and you are kind of in an agreement here on this one. This is nobody but Giannis's fault, right? You wanted Damian Lillard. You wanted Budenholzer fired. You You wanted Doc Rivers, and now look where you're at. Now the Dame thing is a little out of your control, right? Dame gets hurt back-to-back years in the playoffs. That's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. You get Miles Turner. Miles Turner isn't playing well.
Miles playing terrible.
Yeah,
that's my dude. Love me some that Washington Wizards game the other night. I watched the second half of that whole game. Miles Turner looked like he's lost.
Pacers.
He has no idea. I mean, I'm talking about a high pick and roll, the back screen cuts, things that he was just getting on the glass when he was here in Indiana. And even the announcers, man, Miles Turner looks lost.
Yeah,
literally lost.
Yeah,
that's too bad. But yeah, they're a horrible team right now. And I think as bad as Miles has played, I think that's gone into Giannis's feelings as well because he understands there's no flexibility.
Their only saving grace has been Ryan Hollins, who came out of nowhere. Ryan Hollins has played really well for them. He's in contention for most improved player, I feel like. But, yeah, I mean, that's probably not enough to save you because Miles is not playing well. And for Giannis, there's only a couple destinations, right? Like, it's funny. No, the Lakers aren't going to get him. I don't think the Knicks will make that move either. I think the most realistic contenders to get Giannis are Atlanta, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio. I think those are the big three in my mind. Obviously, Oklahoma City probably won't do it. I think San Antonio is more interested in doing it than Oklahoma City, but I really do think Atlanta would be Milwaukee's best bet. They have capital. You can trade Trae Young. I think that's really the one that entices me the most because, look, if I'm putting my bias in here, I don't want Giannis out west, right? A lot of teams, when you're every team out west, when you're Jokic, when you're Braun, when you're Luka, when you're Shea, the West is already stacked out there. You don't want Giannis coming out west. So if he can stay out east, I think everybody would prefer that. Another team that I think is my wild card, my fourth spot, we talked about it over the phone, is the Miami Heat. I think that's my wild card. But I will say San Antonio 1, Atlanta 2, Oklahoma City 3, Miami Heat 4.
Yeah, I say Atlanta 1 for sure. We talked about this on the phone last night. Atlanta for sure. You got Trae Young. They're playing great without Trae Young. Yeah. Great. I'm not good, but great. They've got draft capital, and they've got some young players as well. So I think Atlanta's the team. I don't think it's San Antonio because I think that would stunt Wemby's growth. I think they've got a nice young core to build on. You're talking about dynasties. Giannis will be 31, I think, in the next couple of weeks. A lot of miles on those tires, man. Lots of miles on those tires, right? So I would say San Antonio, no. I would say Lakers, no. I would say Knicks, no. But I think Atlanta and maybe Miami. Those are the two teams I think have the best type of from capital and the best tradable pieces to make it work. I mean, everybody can make it work with whoever they've got, but I don't see the Knicks letting go of Cat and those multiple picks. I don't see the Lakers doing. Now, listen, Lakers going to have $50 million in cap space next year after Bron's off the books. Don't go trade for this guy right now. You ought to just sit and wait.
And if he doesn't get traded, and if he does, he's a free agent. Giannis, he's a free agent. Not this year, but next year. Giannis,
he'll be a 1-year deal, right? So I would think a team like Atlanta or Miami. Other than that, I think it's just a pipe dream, and I think it's just good fodder for people to talk about.
I agree. I think everybody's talking about it, so we'll bring it up. Obviously, Giannis out 2 to 4 weeks with the right calf strain. When you watch the video, and when I watched the video, I laughed a little bit because I'm like, man, wow, ironic, right? Because when you watch the video, it just looks like Giannis just sat down. It looked like nothing really happened.
Well, remember 3 years ago he had an injury, and he in the same situation he sat down, and this is would have been 22, I think. End of the year, he didn't finish up the end of the year, and he was kind of grabbing at his foot or whatever the case may be. So listen, with all those miles on those tires, things start creeping up. 31 is young in real life, but 31, everybody's not LeBron. Okay, this dude is a specimen. Everybody's not LeBron, and I don't see Giannis playing 10 more years. So for me, if I'm a team looking at a superstar, to put me over the top. Not Giannis, but if I'm a team like Atlanta, where a place where careers go to die, yeah, I would definitely strongly consider that to make you relevant. Other than your nightlife in Atlanta.
Yeah, very true. I'm curious where Giannis will go. I think it's going to be, now the deadline continues to get more interesting, right? We talked about LaMelo a couple days ago. Now we're talking about Giannis. So I think things are only going to continue to enhance as we get farther and farther down the line. Zion is also another one that I think will be traded. I don't think there's really a if. There was a report if the Pelicans get a reasonable, realistic offer, they're probably going to deal him the first opportunity they get. And why wouldn't you? John Morant's on the table. There's a lot of pieces and just players that are on the table right now to be traded. Daryl, out of all the names that I'm mentioning, who do you think is, let's say, 80% guaranteed to be traded? Like, it just off your personal thought process.
Zion Williamson.
Yep.
Talk about a guy.
I'd say Anthony Davis is close, but yeah, I think Zion is one.
We talked about this before on the Anthony Davis piece. I don't know, man. I think you let Anthony Davis get healthy, get in shape. Kyrie will be back. You've got, the rookie is starting to play ball now. You got, Daniel Gafford. You got Live. You got big guys. They can be a formidable team come March, April, and going into the playoffs. So if I'm Dallas, I'm not trading Anthony Davis. I'm gonna let this. I mean, you're already you've got your GM is gone. You've been the laughing stock of the NBA for the last half year because of the trade. Hey man, let it play out. Let's see what happens when Kyrie's healthy. Let's see what happens when the rookie is continues to get his legs underneath him, and then you got Lively and Daniel Gafford protecting the backside. So if I'm Dallas, I'm sitting pat.
This is the report I want to show you. I'm curious. I forgot. This is also something I want to bring up because I saw this week and I thought it was hilarious. The Bulls are trying to follow the Indiana Pacers formula and believe they have their Tyrese Halliburton and Josh Giddey, and they are now searching for their Pascal Siakam per Jamal Collier. They have Halliburton, who is an all-star, and they have Siakam. If Giddey can develop into an all-star and be what Hallie is, or what Hallie was, when do we pull the trigger to get our Siakam? That is the quote. I don't know why they put was. How about we put has? But anyways, I want to get your thoughts on this report. Obviously, and then obviously the comments believe they're talking about Anthony Davis. Please don't say the Bulls think AD will be their Siakam. I think it will be Siakam, right? I think when you look at Anthony Davis, I was gonna put him in the trade deadline video, and the only destination I had written in was Chicago because when he had his first contract expiring in LA, Chicago literally freed money to try and get him, but he signed an extension midway through the year, which kind of ruined Chicago's plans there to get him. But I think there's always been an interest there for AD to go to Chicago. Chicago's has really wanted AD for the last couple of years now. Chicago didn't look bad at the start of the year, right? They've kind of fallen into place. Both them and Portland, I believe, are 9-13 on the year right now. I think this is the one spot AD will truly go to. If he does get traded, I don't think there's really any other buyers for him at this moment in time. I think Chicago, and this would fit what Chicago wants, right? If they want their Siakam, I think Anthony Davis is probably, Siakam, I'm not going to discredit Siakam. I don't know where Anthony Davis is right now on the terms of talent level.
But he's from Chicago, and that's always going to be talk about, going back to Chicago. But sometimes you can't always go back home, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has been a very good player in his career. He's also been a very injured player in his career. I think he needs to get himself healthy. I think Dallas is a good spot for him. And I think being in Chicago would be a bad spot for him because all the lights will be there. You got Kobe that's there who's going to look for a big contract after this year, I think, if I remember right. You got Josh Giddey who just signed that deal. I don't know that you want that. I don't know that you want that. But again, it's great that they say you try to follow what the Pacers are doing. It's nice and flattering, but Pacers struck lightning, right? They got a Halliburton in a great deal that worked out for them. And then they got Pascal, in a great deal. And the guy, has not disappointed, even in the year, that the Pacers are having. Pascal Siakam has not been the issue. That dude we were at the game the other night. He just plays so damn hard. And I just don't think Anthony Davis has that type of motor in his wheel, right? He doesn't have that type of motor.
Not right now.
I think that motor's gone. That motor was in the early days in LA. 2020, 2021, 2022. I think that motor's gone. So thanks for the complimentary conversations about the Pacers, but no, the Bulls aren't the Pacers and the Pacers aren't the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Giddey's played well, but I don't know about Halliburton-esque. I don't know. I mean, if they feel that way, I mean, props to them.
Have at it. Have at it if you want to have at it.
All right, Daryl. I'm gonna give you a chance to speak on it, but let's watch the clip. LeBron James being unselfish, right? We're going to talk about it. The young and the Lakerless. We can't have a stream without the Lakers. LeBron out to Rui for 3, gets it to go. And LeBron's 10 points, more than 10 points per game, comes to an end, but it's off a game winner against the 4th-ranked Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference. Rui Hachimura getting the game winner. Daryl, your thoughts on that, and then obviously you can tie into the Phoenix piece as well, because yes, it is highly ironic that you see him talking and to the Phoenix Suns players on the bench. He gets his 10 points and then gets out, and then the couple days later I don't need the streak.
Dude, that was the right basketball.
It was.
Okay?
It was a good basketball
play. Right basketball play. Now we all know LeBron himself. Hell, he just showed it the day before. So he knows in the back. He saw that clip that was shown where he scored the points and he does this. Thumbs up, goes to the bench. He knows listen, he's aware of what everybody says and what everybody thinks about him. He's one of the most sensitive megastars ever created. Okay. He saw that. And this play against Toronto, it wasn't, it's so unselfish. It was just a better play. Rui was a better shot. When you're coaching from 5-year-olds, get the ball to the teammate who can score the best. That's what you do. Best play was that. I understand everybody, the Bron fans want to, crown him and give him another, some more emeralds in his crown for making an assist and a play. He was supposed to do that, man. He was supposed to, especially coming off how selfish he was the game before. So he had to make up for it. Everybody saw it. Hell, ESPN ran it over and over. He scores. It's all like the last year when he was on the ground looking to see if everybody saw that he flopped. He's like looking at the I got my 10. It is what it is.
And
look,
I mean, there wasn't
open here. Look, stop. He's not open. Laker fans. Well, let me rewind. Bron fans. The man is wide open. Stop acting as though, look, there's nobody within 15 feet of him.
Yeah.
Come on, man. For me, this is an expectation of a play that Bron should make.
Yeah.
And it just is.
And that's on, I think that, I can't tell who that is. I think that's Barnes. That's on Barnes because he went to double team Reeves, which makes Quickly have to step up and guard this. Then Ingram can't technically go back out here to Rui or whatever. He can't go and cover Rui because
Barnes is ready. Barnes is prepared to blow kisses again. Barnes is an unserious player. He's an unserious player. I'm sorry, he is. Barnes is an unserious player, and he showed it again in this play here. Absolutely. Goes to double team, you're great. Then now someone has to swing. Yep. You're putting your teammates out of position because if Ingram goes, that's a lob right there.
Yeah. If Ingram goes, perfect. Yeah. Because he's not.
So again, Scotty Barnes, keep blowing kisses, man, and stay unprofessional. And until you become a serious NBA player, we're not going to take you serious. Sorry. You look at the video here. Mistake. Great shot by 28. You got to hit it though. It's not a layup. It's a corner 3. So kudos to the Lakers for winning the game. Great. I
No,
told you, the Lakers are a really, really good team, man. And to your point about Bron understanding his place, as long as Bron continues to understand his place, they're going to be formidable.
Yeah.
But if he resorts to I'm Bron still, that may create a problem for the team down the stretch.
8 points, 11 assists. He got chances
remember
to score.
If you remember, I said a double-double. 10 or 11 points.
And I give him that. That's basically a double-double.
Great.
Yeah.
Because you're worth about 5 points to the refs anyway. During the game, you're worth about 5 points between fake fouls and those types. That's another 5 points you're getting because you're Bron. You're the megastar.
Yeah.
So now you get the refs 5 points. You can score 10 to 12 points, and you get 9 to 10 assists. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Let your team let it go. But again, I think the Lakers are a formidable team in the West. I don't think they're OKC, but they're a formidable team in the West.
I mean, clear they're not. I mean, you look out west, it's not even close. It's not even close. They're Thunder.
I think it's closer than many think. I'm not saying it's neck and neck. I just think it's closer. I don't think the gap is as large from a will they or won't they. I don't think it's as large. I don't.
I mean, look at that five game gap. Five game gap there.
Well, 22 games in.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Pacers won 51 games last year. There's 4 teams that won more games than them in the East. Yeah. It wasn't close.
Yeah, very
Contest
true.
wasn't close.
We're gonna have Coach Mark Hester joining us here in a couple minutes. He'll be joining us at 12:30. Looking at the standings, Daryl, what's got your interest here out west?
Man, I like the fact that the Clippers are where they are. I'm hoping they can overtake the Kings as the worst team in the West. I'm hoping those picks get to Oklahoma City, and I'm hoping that Oklahoma City takes advantage of those and really parlays them into a next 5 to 10 year stretch of great basketball from Oklahoma City. And I said, we on our call the other day, I would love to see the Oklahoma City Thunder, if it's not my Pacers, absolutely be a mega team for the next 5 to 10 years. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Much better than any team in LA, much better than any team in Boston, San Antonio, Houston, Chicago, anywhere else. It's Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And I understand why you feel opposite. I get that. I'm not mad at you about that. But, it's okay for the little guys to come in and play well too.
It is Friday, so let's go ahead and do our let's go ahead and send the lottery real quick, Daryl, and see what the future holds in the NBA. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, there you go. Indiana drops down to 6. Utah's number 1, and I do think Utah will. I
can't have that. I see. I can't have that. Like I said.
Well, your Oklahoma City Thunder are second, so there you go.
Well, I want them. So I'm good with that. I want them to be first. I want us to be first, and Oklahoma City to be second. Like I said, the NBA owes the Pacers for the Patrick Ewing fiasco that they set up for the New York Knicks. If you're listening to me, Commissioner, you owe the Pacers. Get us that number 1 pick. That's my 2 cents.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but we'll see. I hope Oklahoma City doesn't get that high of a pick, or we're all in trouble.
I hope they do. I hope it's Pacers 1 and the Clippers 2. That'd be great.
That would not be great.
That'd be a wonderful thing.
That'd be bad for the sport. I love the parity that we have in the NBA, and I don't need that to be ruined by some 3-year dynasty. All right, sat through.
That ain't bad for the sport. Everybody's going to watch the NBA at the clip they are. All right, they're going to watch it. Nobody's going to turn away because it's Oklahoma City.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's not going to be as bad as when KD.
They got a mega superstar who absolutely is one of the difference makers in the league. Yeah, I know they say foul baits. Yeah, he does, but it's the NBA.
Oh, he definitely does.
Foul baiting. It's about 75 or 80 guys in the league to do the same thing.
I don't know. I'll find the clip. But Shea is getting a lot of flack for one of the calls he got.
Because he's a megastar. He's a megastar, and he should get the flack. But how do you deal with it? That's what I want to know. How do you deal with it, Shay? Everybody talks about it. We see the clips. So, remember, last year when LeBron's on the floor peeking, everybody sees that. How do you respond from that? There you go. I'm okay with it, man. I've gone to accept the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win the title again this year. Pacers are going to be healthy over the summer. We're going to get a top pick, and the Pacers are going to be back in the Eastern Conference Finals, ready to take their throne back, and this time finish it off. I said it, 100%, and I absolutely believe it. With our young guys getting better and better, we got something for y'all next year. We're the Midwest version of the Golden State Warriors when they stank, when they had everybody injured. We're that version.
There you go. And what did they do the year after? They won a chip.
We're just a better overall franchise. Though.
Without Kevin Durant.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. We're just a better overall franchise, though, just so everybody understands that, than the Golden State Warriors.
All right, Daryl. Let's before Hester gets in here, let's have a little cool down segment. There was some breaking news in the media conglomerate world hours ago. Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery, DC, Looney Tunes, Cartoon Network, Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery. That is some pretty massive news. I'm a DC fan. I love DC. I love all things DC. We talked about the Superman movie on the pod. Well, what was the pod months ago? I know you're not the biggest infomercial about these type of things, but it's big in the news right now. It's not politics or nothing, so I thought it'd be interesting.
It's money, man. We talked about, everything is ran around money. Money drives this whole thing, and money is driving this as well, right? Netflix is continuing. Remember, they got into the boxing situation with the Mike Tyson. They're getting involved in more and more things because they know the platform is there and the money's there for them. So kudos to them. I hate the fact that it was Warner Brothers because I grew up on Warner Brothers, but things change. Things change, and it is what it is. All I just need to know is where can I find it on my Fire Stick?
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious.
I don't think I find my Fire Stick.
I think the biggest question I'm wondering is when DC has these new movies come out, what's going to be that window of them being in theaters? How short will it be now? Or will they go to theaters at all? Will they go straight to Netflix? Is there going to be an HBO Max? Or are they going to just move?
It could be like Blockbuster. It could be like Blockbuster. Remember? Well, you don't remember, but back in
I remember. It wasn't Blockbuster for me.
This can put movie theaters out of business.
Yeah.
No, who wants to go to a movie theater, pay $15 for a bowl of popcorn, $8 for a pop, $9 for a Reese cup, sitting in a seat where who knows what was going on in that seat before you were there?
All right, fair enough. But
I'm just saying, or sit in your room, your game room, on your couch, and watch it.
But there's nothing like going to the theater, getting a big bucket of popcorn, walking over, putting as much butter as you want, getting a pop. There's nothing better than that. So for me, I love the movie theaters.
I'll pop my own popcorn.
Movie theater popcorn has something that you just can't get from normal popcorn at home. But ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the wonderful Coach Mark Hester of the IU East men's basketball team. Coach, great to have you in the building. Let me switch this logo here to following the pack. I appreciate you coming on the live show and joining us today. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know I was going to barge in like that, man. But hey, whatever works.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Daryl, I know you're happy to see Coach Hester.
Yeah, man, that's my guy, man. Hey, what's up, Coach? You doing all right?
I'm surviving, man. That's all we do in this business anymore, survive.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely, for sure, man. Appreciate you being on with us, of course. As you've seen us kind of growing and kind of spitballing and doing our thing. I'm getting for somehow IU East is in my algorithm now. I'm seeing IU East clips. I'm seeing a lot of good things. So continue, man, to fight the fight. We support you from afar. Tell Isaiah all the time. I got to figure out a way to get over there to the East, man, and hang out and spend some time with you guys because I really look forward to seeing it live and in person. And we were talking the other day to DeAndre Brock, and he spoke highly about your assistant coach. And it was a good conversation about that as well. So that's been fun, man. It's been really good.
Well, can't wait to get you out here. We keep talking about it, man. You gotta put your money where your mouth is. And ain't that far.
I gotta fill my car up, man.
Man, when I get to recruiting, I'm in Indy probably 3-4 times a week. So we
gotta connect somehow, man. We got to.
Yeah, you gotta get up here.
You were my voice of reason last summer, man, during the finals, man. I don't know what I would have done without you.
I don't know how you hanging it now. Handling it right now. It's, I guess, just being realistic about what it is. But it's like
for the Thunder. That's how.
Do what?
He's rooting for the Thunder. That's how he's doing it.
What I said, be clear. What I said was, if there's going to be a mega team, and it's not the Pacers, I'd rather it be a small market team like the Thunder.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. That's I 100% agree there. It's in Pacers, it would be. I've been in that situation before where you've had guys hurt, and you just. Okay, well, we'll just get through this year. We'll get blown out. It is what it is. Get a great draft pick, but then you go in and they're competitive in every game, just can't win it, and that's just rips your heart out every single day.
That's worse, man. It's like, come on, we're probably going to lose. Like we were at the game the other night, and there's no harder playing player than Pascal Siakam. That dude gives it everything. That the team does, but you talking about a star. He's out there. He's coach. This is my rotation. Give me my 35 minutes. In a game where you're probably going to lose by 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So, Coach, I want to talk about IU East. Of course, that it is following the Pac. Well, we're doing the show inside of the live show today. Talk about the show. Obviously, that happened last week, Thanksgiving week. Talk about that experience for the team, for the players. Obviously, IU East has been going to this event for the last couple of years. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, Saturday was just an embarrassment. That's how it kind of started off. This was a different kind of show for me because I was so disappointed with how we played and how we showed up and attacked. And give Pikeville credit. Pikeville did what they needed to do. They were a good team, but our effort level was just not at the standard that we expect from an IU East team. And that was so disappointing that, I didn't handle it very well. I went and hiked the mountain. Like after the game, I left. Like I left. I didn't hang around watching any other teams play. I went and was sitting in the room and just kind of in my feelings a little bit, trying to figure out what was going on. Like, how do you figure these guys out? Like, what is it? What's happening? And I just said, you know what? I got to accomplish something today. I said, I'm going to go for a walk. So I went for a walk, and I went down this path. It was a paved path, thank goodness, because I didn't want to do it. But then I came to a crossroads where it was like, I can go up this mountain, or I can take the easy way and take a right and stay on the flat land. And I was like, I got to accomplish something. I got to get a personal victory today of some kind. So I took about an hour and a half to get to the top of that mountain, and got up there. And once I got up there, I realized how far I'd actually walked. I was pretty. It's like, man, damn, I got to go back now. Like, I call a helicopter, come get me or something. But I went up there and, just then walked back down. And, I didn't feel like talking to anybody. I had several coaches that reached out to me that day that were there and asked how I was doing, because they knew I wasn't pleased. And so, I wasn't in the mood to socialize or anything like that, or to go watch other teams. I didn't want to see our guys just because I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be more positive and supportive. But, there comes a time where you gotta man up. And I just feel like we cater too much to the feelings of this generation instead of realizing that sometimes you got to suck it up and do a job. Like, it is what it is. And we didn't do that. But then we had a great bounce back the next day. I thought that was a positive. The team we played, Warner out of Florida, they're struggling a little bit. Nowhere near the level of Pikeville, but we did some things and executed things that we were supposed to do, and we did it with effort. And that's what we're after. Like, they don't understand. It's not about the result. It's about the process. It's about our standard. Are you upholding our standard? Because you can do everything perfectly defensively and really, really, do a great job. And then the guy still makes a shot. It just happens, and what you focus on is, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? And I thought we did that. First half we were down, but we were playing hard, and I thought they just made shots. We were there. We were in their face. They just made them. And then the second half we come out and continue doing the same thing and, held them 25 points and really shut them down. So, again, it was a good bounce back. So, I mean, that was a positive. And then we played Miami of Ohio Tuesday in an exhibition for us. Again, I felt like we weren't trying to win that game. They make that clear when you sign those contracts. You're not to win that game. But not that we would have anyway, but I felt like we could have kept the score competitive if we weren't trying to play everybody and get everybody minutes and experience in that time, and give them that Division I experience. But I felt like that carried over from Sunday. We did some things that we were supposed to do, and we just first half just didn't make a lot of shots, and but then got a little bit better at it the second half. But I was pleased overall.
Gotcha. Darryl, I'll let you get in here. Do you have any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, in those cases, Coach, we talked about it before earlier this year about defeats and how you see how players, when you feel like they just didn't give what you wanted, and that old school type of mentality. How do you balance how you feel in your gut versus 2025 December? That's a big difference. How do you balance that?
Some deep breathing exercises, some meditation. You just, I don't handle it well. I'll be honest. That's something I don't handle well. It is, and it's not, that's always been the case. There's, I've been doing this for 30 years now at the college level, and that always happens. You'll have nights where guys just don't show up. They don't play well. They don't play hard, whatever. You understand that's going to happen occasionally. The difference in nowadays versus before is that it doesn't bother them when that happens. They're just okay.
That's the push then right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Our generation, we would, if we did that, you wouldn't have to say anything to us.
Right.
We were ready to just beat ourselves up. Let's get back in practice, get in the gym, yada yada. They're all ready to throw in the towel in the season, after another one of those games, because our 3 losses that we've had have been by 30 plus points. And these teams that have beaten us aren't 30 points better than us. They have quit. They've chosen to take the easy way out. And I've been open about talking to them about that. And matter of fact, for shoot around on Sunday, rather than go over the other team, I sat us down and I gave a sermon. It was Sunday morning, so I gave them a sermon. And we didn't even go over the other team. And I told them, I said, we're not playing them, we're playing us. I said, until we learn to eliminate beating ourselves and feeling sorry for ourselves and doing things that are going to lead to the potential for loss of success, you can't worry about what the other team's doing. You've got to eliminate those things within first. And so that's what we did. And I talked to him for a long time because I said, I said, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are embarrassed. Oh yeah, we're embarrassed. Yeah. And I said, it's not talking to you seniors because you don't have a choice, but you younger guys, you're all saying, I'm going to transfer. right? Because you're embarrassed. And I said, don't sit there and not say anything, because you know, don't say nothing. When I asked you if you were embarrassed, you said yeah. So don't not answer the question. And they're all like, they start shaking their head. Yeah. So, but you can't win at this level, right? Though. So why is anybody else gonna want you? If you play a good team and you get beat by 30, why is anybody else gonna want you? Because it's on film that you give up and that you quit. I was like, so what do you expect? Only situation you're going to is a worse situation. And I told him, I said, this is why I can't stand your generation. Understand this. You don't want to stay and fight together, become stronger, and figure this thing out, and realize that you've got to be part of the solution. And the part of the solution is stop feeling sorry for yourself and start doing what a coach is asking you to do. And you know that if I've got to go get this loose ball, but I might get hit, I'm still going to go get that loose ball, because that's what my team needs me to do in order to have a chance to win this game, you know, and not, it doesn't really, I'm not want it that bad. And so I just go half-ass at it and then get hit, and, you know, it's a turnover, or they give up a point. Like you don't fight through any adversity. And I said, there's not enough data on this yet, but I said, in 20 years, there will be. And I said, I'm going to use college football as an example. You hear all these guys that have played for 3, 4, 5 teams in their college careers. And I said, that's all great, because they're all chasing the money, whatever. That's great for them until they're about 35 years old and they really need something, and they need somebody to fall back on, or an organization to fall back on. Well, who are you going to go to? You know, you're not an alumni really of anywhere, because you were only there for a year. Yeah. You haven't established those relationships, and you haven't established the being part of something. And so now your life is going to get more difficult because you did that. But they don't understand that part of it. And I said, so you got two choices. You be in it for you, or you be in it for the long haul and try to learn how to fight through this adversity and get it right. You know, and in the process, what you're going to learn and the character that you're going to build carries over into the rest of your life. And if that's not what you're about, you don't need to be here, because this is what we're doing.
And that's the starting point. That's the starting point, right, of life. We talked about the young men, and as they grow into men, if you're quitting at 18, 19, and 20, you're going to quit at 30, 31, and 32.
Yep, because every single time you do it, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's the norm, right? Now it's normal. Right. Oh, man,
yep.
I'm not doing that.
Yep.
That's not worth my pain. And
it starts in AAU and everything else. You know what I mean? And they just continue to do that throughout their stuff. Gets hard. Well, let's just find an easier situation. You know?
Yeah, that gets me going, because now you say, well, you've got to be more friendly. Because I was talking to someone who said, well, coaches have to be more friendlier. I didn't get hired to be your friend. I hired you to grow and develop you, and to get something out of you that you didn't see in yourself. And how the hell am I being your friend? How am I going to get that out of you? Now, I'm trying to feel like a coach. I can't get that out of you because of that, right?
Yeah.
Now it's a juggling act, man. I'm not trying to be the get off my lawn guy and all these kids, all this. I'm not, but it's got to be tough, especially for a guy like you. I know how you care. We've talked enough about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I tell them, I've told them recently in the past week or so, I said, you know, I can tell you right now which one of you guys are going to be successful in life and which ones that are going to struggle. And that's sad. I said, that's really sad, but I can tell, because I can tell how you approach what you're doing. And I said, whether that's your schoolwork, whether that's your athletic endeavors, whether it's just life, I can tell. I was like, you're not learning the lessons that you need to learn in order to succeed later on in life, because you're just not giving it a full effort or taking it serious enough, or, you know, and you can have fun and take stuff serious. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm a poster child for that. I can have fun at stuff, but still try to be serious. And I think it's much easier for kids in this generation to say, well, I just never really gave it that effort. That's why I didn't succeed. And they can live with that, instead of, I gave it everything I got, and if I didn't succeed, I can at least go sleep at night and live with that. You know, they don't understand. It's the difference in the regret or the lies that you have to tell yourself because you didn't give it your all, will never make for a good night's rest the rest of your life, unless if you give it everything you got, I mean everything, and you don't succeed, you can go sleep at night, and you're very well aware of what caused that to not succeed, and you correct it.
Yeah.
But when you don't try, you don't give it a real effort. Where do you even start at that point?
A great point.
Don't get me started, man.
I know, right?
I just talk the rest of the day.
I have to call you tonight.
Coach, obviously, like you just said, you just played the exhibition game against Miami of Ohio. Next Saturday, you take on Kentucky Christian. It's a little early for a conference game. Kentucky Christian just joining the conference this year. You've got basically a week to get everyone ready, after a long holiday break or a long trip in Kingsport, Kentucky, and then you play Miami of Ohio. Nice little break there to work on some things as you get ready for the first conference game of the season. I think the big thing I'm noticing, and I've talked to the players about it a little bit, and Corey as well, is you look at the other teams in the conference, they're doing big things. They're getting some upset victories of the sorts. So the conference this year, I think last year, me and you talked about it, it was wide open for the most part, and then you started to see St. Mary's kind of take grasp of the conference. This year, I think it's also the same thing. It's wide open, but you are seeing a lot of teams in the conference get these major wins. So it is going to be a bloodbath this year once again on both sides, the East and West Division. How do you get ready for that first conference game of the year?
Well, we still have one more game. We play tomorrow at Eastern Kentucky. That's our second. That's our second. Yeah, it's our second exhibition game, which will be a little bit much different type opponent than what Miami was, but similar to Kentucky Christian, actually. Yeah. We just have so much to still work on with ourselves. Continuing, and I think the problem is we are getting better at it in practice. Then we get out in the game and they tend to revert back to what they're comfortable with, because the things that we ask them to do are not easy. I mean, I'm not stupid. They're not easy, but it's a matter of giving effort and wanting to give multiple efforts. So hopefully we can kind of get past that a little bit, and do a better job of executing, taking what we've done in practice and turning it into games. We've still got to focus on that, but I'm not going to steer away from. We still have more issues of playing ourselves than we do playing our opponents right now. And we've got to, before you can beat anybody else, you got to stop beating yourself. And I think we still make too many mistakes, whether that be, not doing a great job on the glass or getting out of position, on and off ball, just different things like that, not communicating, just basic things that take no talent. And we've kind of harped on that a lot here lately about, you got to master things that take no talent, because they're really the separators. Your talent allows you to make the great plays. We've got to make the routine ones. And to do that, you've got to be really locked in mentally to get over that. So, we're just going to continue on that process until we master that before we start going on to trying to do anything else with somebody else. Yeah.
Thoughts on Kentucky Christian? What have you seen from them? I don't know if you've gotten to get a look at them yet or whatnot, but how do you feel about them?
I saw one game when they played very early in the year, when they played somebody, and I just happened to be free and checked it out. And they were, they present a lot of challenges. They're going to be a really good team, and we've got to be at our best to be able to get that done. Conference is another level. Teams know you so well. They take it a little more seriously, which why you don't take every single thing seriously, I don't understand, but for whatever reason they do, and so it's going to be a big challenge for us to be able to play well. First game at home in a while. And so, hopefully we'll be able to have some of the kinks worked out and be a little bit more consistent. I mean, we did, we're starting 4 freshmen right now. I don't think there's anybody in the country starting 4 freshmen at any level of basketball. Maybe a JUCO. Of course they don't, because they don't have a choice. But it's just it's what we have to do. So I'm ready to get started on that conference stuff. But I want to just keep hammering away at our process and getting better every single day.
Yeah, of course, Coach. Obviously, I'm excited for you guys to be back home so I can get back to broadcasting. Folks, if you can, go give a follow to IU East Men's Basketball on Instagram. They've done a great job with social media coverage this year. And then also check out the website. There you see right there all of our shows following the Pat, Game Time After Hour, and Cott's Corner. That all would not be possible without our sponsors, Matt Gaddis of State Farm and Wired to the Nines as well. So big thanks to our sponsors. Coach, real quick, you love talking sports with us, so I'll ask you real quick, your thoughts on Chris Paul being released. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know enough details yet. It's kind of a unusual situation, I think. If they're just wanting to unload somebody to make a roster spot, or for, I can't imagine it was for cap purposes, because I would bet he's on a vet minimum or something close to that. It had to be. There had to be something to it, but until I reserve judgment until I hear more facts about what the deal was. If it was it doesn't surprise me out of the Clippers organization, because there's just certain ones that just never seem to get things right and don't understand stuff. So, I kind of got to lean towards that right now, but I don't know. I know that on the court he can be kind of a dick, but I also know that off the court he's very well respected in what he's done with the Players Association and as a leader. And I know those are two totally different things. And if you're a strong-minded leader and some people are threatened by that or don't like it, I could see it, but it's just unfortunate. I think he'll land somewhere. Somebody was going to need a vet to mentor some guys, and right now, Pacers wouldn't be bad.
No. We just want to play out. We want to play our young guys, Coach. Get them some experience.
Well, I didn't say they had to play. He just, having some mentorship around for some of those guys might help. That's a big thing. You mentioned our social media stuff. Also, shout out to Corey if you get a chance to go to IUEMBB on YouTube and check out the Root Focused episode that he did about the show. He's got part 1 up. Went up yesterday. It's kind of interesting stuff. He's doing good work with that.
Yeah, shout out to my broadcast partner, Corey. He's doing a great job. Coach, Eli, he's here. He said if IU East plays like they do second half versus Warner, they can do some damage. And then he also mentioned that CP3 and Ty Lue have not been on speaking terms the last couple of weeks. That report
I've heard that. I've been not on speaking terms with my boss before too. It usually doesn't go great.
Same here.
That's true. Very, very true. Coach, that is going to do it. You're welcome to stay as we wrap up here. We're just talking NBA, but if you got stuff you got to do, I understand that as well.
Well, if you guys want to get this show over with, you better get rid of me, because me and Daryl start talking, and
I know, right?
And that'll be it.
Nothing but love, Coach. Nothing but love for you.
I hear you, man.
We got a couple more minutes. If you got anything you want to say NBA wise or sports wise, you're free to.
Well, you tell me what you want to talk about NBA wise. If you want an opinion, I'll give you an opinion. I don't know if it matters. I can.
Daryl, you haven't got to talk to Coach in a minute, so I'll let you throw something at him.
Oh man, I just it's funny, right? When I see the name, I was like, man, it's my guy, man. We just start talking, but it just comes naturally. I can't think of like, oh, let me make sure I talk to Coach Hester about this, because if it just pops up, I'll text or call. So just the landscape of the NBA. We've talked about the quote unquote foul baiting and the refereeing and all of that. Do you see any of that changing in the NBA to be a product that more people respect outwardly, or do you just see it kind of being what it is? That's how
I think they've tried to legislate some of the foul baiting out of it. I think that the simplest thing is just don't call it. If you know that that they're doing it as an official, don't call it. They'll stop doing it when it stops becoming efficient and stops becoming a way to help you win. That they'll stop it. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's going away. I mean, if you notice the isolation type basketball and much more movement is coming into the game again off the ball, and I think that's all part of it. Guys are always going to be looking for an advantage as a player, but I think that with more ball movement and more things happening schematically, I think it becomes harder to do that. But again, it goes back to when you see somebody do that, just don't call it.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah.
So I got Isaiah. That's all I got.
There you go. Well, folks, that's gonna do it for us. Daryl, I know you've got to be somewhere here in a couple of minutes, so that's gonna do it for this episode. Coach, I thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. But folks, thank you guys for watching this episode. We will be back on Sunday. I don't think we have a guest lined up exactly yet for Sunday. We may just be recapping the conference championship games that day for college football, but we will talk about that more. But that's going to do it for us, folks. We will see you guys on Sunday for another episode of Game Time Live.
Thanks, everybody.